A quiet Saturday morning in Oak Ridge, my little slice of suburban heaven, suddenly shattered by the thump, thump, thump of helicopter blades slicing through the sky. Neighbors stumble out in their robes, coffee mugs dangling, phones already up, filming like it's the Super Bowl. And then there's Margaret Howard, HOA dictator, self-crowned queen of the cul-de-sac, screaming bloody murder as her shiny black Cadillac Escalade, her pride and joy, lifts off my driveway, swaying in the air like a piñata at a kid's party. I'm Jake, just a guy who's lived in Oak Ridge for 20 years, long before the HOA turned our neighborhood into a rulebook dystopia. Back in the day, this place was all about kids racing bikes, dads firing up grills, and nobody caring if your grass was half an inch too long. Then Margaret moved in 5 years ago, and it was like a dark cloud rolled over the block. She didn't walk, she strutted, clipboard in hand, barking at kids for chalk drawings, measuring mailboxes with a tape measure, handing out fines like candy. My crime? My hydrangeas. Apparently, they were too wild for her precious community aesthetic. I told her those flowers were here before her, planted by my late wife, Sarah, who loved them like they were her kids. Margaret just sneered, "Rules are rules, Jake." That was her gospel, except funny thing, those rules never seemed to apply to her. So, one crisp Tuesday, I step out with my coffee, ready to head to work, and there's her Cadillac parked dead across my driveway, blocking both garage doors like she'd measured it with a laser. I thought, okay, maybe she slipped up, parked wrong. Then I saw the note under my wiper, written in her perfect, angry block letters. "Maybe this will teach you to trim those hydrangeas. Comply, or I'll have your truck towed next. Margaret, HOA president." I nearly choked on my coffee. This woman had turned my driveway into her personal battlefield over flowers. By noon, the street was a circus. Neighbors peeked from their porches, pretending to walk their dogs, but really just there for the drama. A couple of teens on skateboards were filming, narrating like they were on ESPN. "Yo, Jake's gonna lose it." I marched over to Margaret's house, coffee still in hand, and called out, "Hey, Margaret, mind moving your tanks so I can get to work?" She stormed out, sunglasses perched like a crown, clipboard clutched like a scepter. "This," she snapped, "is a lawful enforcement action. Your flowers violate Code 3.2.1. Until they're trimmed, your access is restricted." I blinked, stunned. "Restricted? Margaret, this is my driveway." She smirked, venom in her eyes. "You signed the HOA covenant, Jake. I'm within my rights." Then she spun on her heels and strutted back inside, leaving her Cadillac like a smug barricade. The neighbors buzzed. Old Mrs. Carter, who'd lived here longer than me, whispered, "She's gone too far." A guy across the street shook his head, muttering, "Jake's screwed." But here's the thing, I don't fold easy. Margaret wanted a power trip, but she didn't know who she was messing with. I'd spent years running a small logistics business, grains, trucks, you name it. I had contacts, favors owed, and a knack for thinking big. That night, sipping bourbon on my porch, staring at her car gleaming under the streetlights, I felt it. This wasn't about hydrangeas. It was about control. She wanted to flex her HOA crown, make an example of me. Fine. If she wanted a show, I'd give her one she'd never forget. I tried the sensible route first. Call the cops, but the officer just chuckled. "Sounds like an HOA thing, man. Civil matter. Towing companies? Useless." Margaret had them all locked in HOA contracts. She'd built herself a fortress of rules, untouchable, so she thought. By day 3, her Cadillac was a neighborhood landmark. Kids snapped selfies with it. Joggers slowed to gawk. Margaret? She loved it, parading around in her yoga gear, preaching about community standards while pointing at my flowers like they were a crime scene. "Morning, Jake," she'd call, voice dripping with fake sweetness. "Ready to comply yet?" I'd just smile. "Morning, Margaret. Nice car." She'd huff, thinking she had me beat. But inside, I was plotting. I didn't want petty, I wanted epic. Flipping through my phone one night, I landed on Tommy, an old buddy who ran a helicopter lifting service. Big rigs, the kind that hoist steel beams like they're feathers. I called him up. "Tommy, you still flying those choppers?" His laugh crackled through. "What's up, Jake? Need a roof lifted?" I grinned. "Nah, car. A Cadillac, parked illegally on my property." Silence, then a slow whistle. "You're crazy, man." "I'm in. Can we do it without a scratch?" "That's the plan," I said. "And, I need it dropped somewhere special." That somewhere was the front lawn of Mayor Randall Tate Margaret's biggest enabler. Rumor was she'd bankrolled his campaign, and in return, he let her run Oak Ridge like her personal kingdom. If I was going to hit her, I'd hit them both. I dug into the HOA charter, city laws, anything I could find. Turns out, parking across my driveway was straight-up trespassing. Legally, I could remove it by reasonable means. A helicopter? Maybe a stretch, but my lawyer buddy, Mike, just smirked over beers. "As long as you've got proof and don't drop it on a highway, it's your call." I asked, "What about a lawn?" He raised an eyebrow. "Get permission, and it's your circus." Permission was Easy Randall's neighbor, a guy I'd helped with a roofing job years back, gave me the green light to use his adjacent lot as a staging area. Game on. We set it for Saturday, 9 a.m. prime time, for neighbors to be out with their coffee, ready for a spectacle. I played it cool all week, acting defeated, letting Margaret gloat. She'd catch me eyeing her car and purr. "Learning your lesson, Jake?" I'd shrug. "Guess you got me, Margaret." Inside, I was buzzing. Tommy had his chopper ready. Chains prepped, risks calculated. I dropped hints to a few neighbors' misses. Carter, the teens, a couple others. "Might want to have your phones ready Saturday," I said. Mrs. Carter's eyes twinkled. "Oh, Jake, you devil." Saturday morning, I played the part. Robe, coffee, picking up a newspaper I didn't even read. Margaret was out, sipping some neon green smoothie, smirking like she'd won the war. Then, right on cue, the air started to hum. A low thump, thump, thump rolled over the horizon. Heads turned. Dogs barked. Margaret frowned, shading her eyes. "What's that noise?" she muttered. Then Tommy's chopper cleared the trees, a beast of a machine, blades kicking up a storm. The cul-de-sac froze. Phone shot up. "No way," a kid whispered. Margaret's smoothie hit the ground as Tommy's crew rappelled down, hooking chains to her Cadillac in seconds. She charged forward, shrieking, "That's my car. I'm the HOA president. You can't do this." But the chains clinked, the engine roared, and her Cadillac lifted slow, majestic, glinting in the morning sun. The crowd lost it. Cheers, laughter, kids jumping like it was Christmas. Margaret fell to her knees, robe flapping, screaming like a banshee. "Jake, you'll pay for this." I raised my coffee mug from a porch. "Morning, Margaret." The chopper banked, carrying her car over the rooftops, a surreal suburban UFO. Neighbors chased it down the street, filming, shouting, but they didn't know the half of it. They thought it was headed to some lot. Nope, Tommy had a better stage in mind. Mayor Tate was hosting his fancy brunch, all champagne and caviar for the city's bigwigs. Picture it, string quartet, white tablecloths, the elite clinking glasses until the chopper's shadow fell. Tablecloths whipped up, plates crashed, and there was Margaret's Cadillac, descending like a divine prank onto Tate's pristine lawn. A dull thud, grass flattened, and the crowd scattered, screaming. Tate's face went white, his comb-over flapping like a flag. "What the hell is this?" he bellowed. Tommy's crew unhooked the chains and peeled out, leaving the Cadillac like a trophy in the chaos. Phones caught it all, every gasp, every curse. By noon, Tate's lawn caddy was trending, memes flooding Twitter faster than you could blink. Back in Oak Ridge, neighbors huddled around their screens, jaws on the floor. Mrs. Carter cackled so hard she nearly dropped her tea. Margaret? She was a mess, staggering to her house, screaming into her phone. Randall, they stole my car. It's on your lawn. Word was, Tate wasn't kind. He tore into her, blaming her for dragging his name through the mud. News trucks swarmed his estate, anchors calling it suburban warfare. Margaret tried to spin it, shrieking to cameras about domestic terrorism, but the internet wasn't buying it. Comments rolled in. HOA tyrant got what she deserved. Jake's a legend. By Monday, the HOA board called an emergency meeting. Margaret stormed in, hair stiff as armor, but the room had turned. A board member she used to bully spoke up. Margaret, you parked illegally. You brought this on yourself. They voted her out that night. Tate filed charges trespassing, nuisance, lawn damage. Thousands in fines. Her reign was over. She slunk around for weeks, avoiding eyes, muttering about injustice. By year's end, she sold her house and left. The day her moving truck pulled out, neighbors waved not with sadness, but with relief. Oakridge changed after that. The air felt lighter, the birds louder. I trimmed my hydrangeas when I wanted grilled burgers on my porch, live my life. Mrs. Carter stopped by one evening, glass of wine in hand. Jake, you took her down with a helicopter. Never thought I'd see it. I smiled. Sometimes you gotta fight ego with altitude. But it wasn't about the stunt, not really. It was about standing up, showing bullies like Margaret that power built on fear doesn't last. Push good people too far, and they'll push back hard. So what's your take? Was I the hero, the villain, or just a guy who'd had enough? Drop your wildest HOA or neighbor stories in the comments. I know you've got them. And if you laughed, cried, or cheered, hit that subscribe button. There's more where this came from.